How y'all doing today? Much love to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Peace, love, and light. And well-being to y'all. I'm back with another meaningful, thought-provoking information of transformation. You know, spiritual communication, you know what I'm saying? Just to get on here and express my thoughts, you know what I'm saying, to my people, the world, you know what I'm saying, and whoever is just trying to find some meaning in terms of having a broader understanding of what's going on in the world, on the planet, you know what I'm saying, outer space, the atmosphere, the land, the ocean waters, our spiritual selves, our bodies, our minds, and regarding, you know, being able to get through any kind of situation or circumstance that may happen to be presented before us in our environment, you know, for us to use our sound minds to get us through, free from the drama of society, you know what I'm saying, the unnecessary stress, the unnecessary negative attention that may try to target you and have you feeling miserable, you know what I'm saying. It's ways to totally be free from the entrapments to try to ruffle your feathers in a way to get you to feel down, but not out, you know what I'm saying. But we know for a fact, you know what I'm saying, we is living in a world to where, you know, we gotta get around the madness so we can stay focused on living the positive lifestyle that we are intended to live in terms of righteousness, for righteousness' name's sake. But guess what? The Messiah was like, they gonna hate you for my name's sake. I mean, really. I mean, here it is, you know what I'm saying? We are positive people, you know what I'm saying, who pretty much woke up to what really matters, which is being obedient to what's righteous with righteous intentions, but yet we find ourselves constantly in a battle. Every day in a battle, you know what I'm saying, to nullify unclean elements away from our energy fields. Say for instance, you know what I'm saying, we are grounded in ourselves, right, to where we let our light shine, to where we have a positive impact on the environment that we are in, right? Because we are interested in spiritual etiquette, spiritual things, you know what I'm saying, that is intended to be rewarding for us. It's the reason why we want to conduct ourselves in a way that is appealing to the positive aspects of the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? Check this out, right? I want to go into the scriptures, right? And select this particular reading here out of this particular passage, right? And it reads in, what is this? Matthew 13, right, 44, where it states, the kingdom of heaven, right, is like treasure hidden in the field. When a man found it, he hid it again. And then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Right? Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kind of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. Then they sat down and collected the good fish in baskets, but threw the bad away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked man from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? Yahshua asked. Yes, they replied. He said to them, therefore every teacher of the law who has been instructed about the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out of his storeroom new treasures as well as old. When Yahshua had finished these parables, he moved on from them, coming to his hometown. He began teaching the people in their synagogue, and they were amazed. Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? They asked, isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't his mother's name Mary, and aren't his brothers James, Joseph, and Simon, and Judas? Aren't all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Yahshua said to them, only in his hometown and in his own house is a prophet without honor. And he did not do many miracles there because of their lack of faith. Now what that said and read, what that read and said, right? Relate that to what's going on in our life, in our era of time right now, regarding how certain people embrace the depths of wisdom and how certain people reject the depths of wisdom. And how certain jewels are kept and how certain bad apples are thrown away. Now, for instance, there's a lot of chaos and confusion being inculcated in people's minds out here in the society and in the global picture of the world, from the United Nations all the way to land areas where what's considered like third world countries, right? How did the third world countries end up being third world countries pretty much? Because of being touched by colonialism. So you can't just say, like, look how them people living. They over there underdeveloped and poor. Don't leave out the blood that's on the hands of the people who created that condition for them people to be in their countries in the first place. For instance, the tricknology of the devil is all about the tricknology of the devil. The devil civilization is about the tricknology of the devil civilization to win as many souls as he can, because he know he has but a little time to do what he intends to do as the arch deceiver of man and woman. Now, being the arch deceiver of man and woman, to where these satanic forces come in many forms through reptilian species, certain beings of the Draco star constellations dealing with other star constellations of stuff that's happening within the cosmos that we really don't be talking about, but these realities is there. Let's get into it. For instance, Panabab, y'all know him, right? Dr. Malachi York Panabab, y'all know him, our master teacher, right? Came to set the record straight. In particular, this scroll is extraterrestrials and creation, right? In terms of the kingdom of heaven being within me and you, there's a lot of cleansing that has to take place within us and in the earth, you know what I'm saying, that is going to be required for the vibrations in the environment to change for the better, as opposed to the negative energy in the atmosphere as a result of the spell of Kingo, right? The spell of Kingo. Get this, my spiritual music, right? Regarding the spell of Kingu, the spell of sleep, that certain force love for certain people to be under a certain hypnosis. You know what I'm saying? Subjected to the hocus pocus to get individuals to not remain focused. And when they don't remain focused, there's an opportunity for the lies to take over at any given moment. That's why you gotta always be on guard against the psychic attacks that may try to get injected in your consciousness. See, having a psychic self-defense is of primary importance that will enable you to ward off and thwart certain inorganic thought forms, that try to incubate in your mind, for you to end up being other than yourself from forces and sources that has an interest in getting people out of their character, feeding the fleshly, lustful appetites of their lower selves, which get them so emotionally tied up into those lower regions of their root chakra or lower cells to the point where they become fiends for physical things, to the point where when they don't have their way in a particular kind of frequencies, you know what I'm saying, we end up seeing people having emotional fits of rage to where they end up going on a hate spree. You know what I'm saying? Ill affecting people in the environment, generating negative energy. Like they say, birds of a feather that flock together. Them negative energy beings is an environment of undesirables. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of, like, say for instance, ain't no in between nothing. What something is what it is. So who are you? And what are you? What do you identify with that is in sync with real, true liberation theology that is appealing to the higher intelligence of your fellow people that you are amongst? Are you a dimwit? Are you a dim light? Are you a dim-witted individual who is just a follower, who is full of all kind of fun and game programming, to the point where you just a gullible person who end up being in the wrong kind of crowds? Let's get to it with this question, because when I was talking about like the climate of the planet, right? We have certain leadership on the planet. Like, for instance, they say, oh, Donald Trump is the most powerfulest man in the world right now. Now, wait a minute. People, think about what you're saying. Okay, by Trump being considered to be the most powerfulest man in the world, look at the mentality of the most powerfulest man in the world. Is his mentality noble in character? Think about it. Is his character noble in character, to the point where he gotten the Nobel Peace Prize? No. Is he universally liked in terms of being someone who stands for justice for all? It appears no. The answer is no. Now don't get me wrong. Certain times in Trump's life, I look at him like, oh, Trump cool. Trump cool. You know what I'm saying? But little did I know the real reality beneath the surface of what he was projecting as a cool person, right? As a result of really like getting to know his character, as a result of these presidential administrations for real, with the power that he has and how he abusing it and misusing it, not only in my opinion, but based on the witnessing and observation of the American people who have become disappointed with him. That man, in light of Donald Trump being the powerfulest man in the world, they say, right? Now think about this, how powerful men in the world can have certain character that renders them someone to be a person who is questionable and who is not above certain criticism because of certain things that he have acted out that not necessarily affected people in a good way, to breed healing through his position of power, but yet spreading evil, chaos, confusion, debauchery through exercising color of law procedures, appearing to be real law, but is not, but has the power and influence behind him with certain financing that's going along with the strange things that his administration is doing that is fair seeming, but in all actuality, he's not really doing the right thing. So, who is really right in his cabinet where they like, okay, he's doing the right thing? I know really in the circles of the white man's world, of course they gonna do what they want to do to some degree, to the point where if they have to alter things when it comes to certain policy shaping and lawmaking, you know what I'm saying? Of course they will shape certain things in a way that will secure power for them exclusively as the overseers of the system. But yet, due to the display of the diversity, equity, and inclusion, where non-white people who have equal justice under the law, where the what's considered the playing field has been equalized to the point where, due to the changing demographics and due to cultural influences spawned by non-white cultures, is widespread in the United States to the point where is the Trump administration doing what they doing out of desperation. Let's look into it. Now, for instance, right, this particular reading material here is indicating this. During the first week of Trump's second term in office, right, President Donald Trump made history by issuing an unprecedented 36 executive orders. Why the number 36? Is that an indication, you know what I'm saying, is that intimating at the market of beasts? Well, after all, I'm just saying, the market of beasts, for him to have an understanding, let him or her count the market of beasts, for his number is 303 score 6. 3 sixes, right? 3 sixes. Is that a coincidence that Trump made history by issuing an unprecedented 36 executive orders? Now, he been mean-spirited about some things that he been doing. So is that mean-spiritedness of his go hand in hand with the market of beasts? The executive orders were signed with his signature, which is a mark. Magic markers. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? What if that's not a coincidence? You know what I'm saying? Is that hinting at something? For instance, executive orders are official, legally binding mandates issued by the President of the United States and printed in the Federal Register that allow the President to direct federal agencies on how to interpret and carry out federal law without the need for congressional approval. Now, wait a minute. To my knowledge, certain administration needs the congressional oversight for certain things. Am I right, y'all? Wait a minute. How is he gonna bypass certain channels, you know what I'm saying, in that system of things, where he can just have his way and do things selfishly according to his own for his own reasons. Now, you know, like, people work jobs and stuff like this, right? They can't just do what they want to do, right? So why is it in this arena or these particular circles where these particular people have these particular job descriptions, right, end up doing things outside of their job descriptions that cause for them to be sat down, talked to, gave a warning, like, you can't be, these guidelines and guiding principles are the things you must follow to stay in order with maintaining the operating procedures of these offices as an active, which will be an act of being responsible with responsibility to do us agreeably accepted regarding that office or job position. But yet we see double standards and certain status quos being maintained for them to get away with doing stuff that's outside of the norm. You know what I'm saying? Now, for instance, right? How is he gonna listen to this? Executive orders are official, legally binding mandates issued by the President of the United States and printed in the Federal Register that allow the President to direct federal agencies. How is that when they already know what to do? So how you gonna have them doing something different other than what they already know how to do? Wouldn't that make them incompetent? You know what I'm saying? Because in these certain areas, they be taking oaths to uphold these positions. So is it true that they violate the oath if they do something other than what they supposed to do, even though it came from the president? Where they like independent to act like, wait a minute, we can't do this, what you saying now? You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain checks and balances in place for things to be a certain way. You just can't do what you want to do. That's why you have advisors or like people, information go through that get filtered, where the end result of that information has been really looked at to see if it's clear for certain implementations. For real. Now, on how to for instance, how you gonna direct these agencies on how to interpret and carry out federal law? They already know how to interpret and carry out federal law. So how you gonna direct them or interpret the agencies how to carry out federal law without the need for congressional permission? The Trump administration has increasingly relied on other forms of presidential directives. What is it? Including presidential actions, the actions that they taken, right, to implement policy changes. Now, regarding policy changes, right, a leader with moral fiber, like when Martin Luther King was like, we judge people based on not their color of skin, but by the content of their character. So you have people who's white, right, who have foul character. You know what I'm saying? That's not diplomatic at all. When you have black people who have foul character, that's not diplomatic at all because of the content of their character. No matter what race you are, as far as you being judged by the content of your character as an individual, then it's justifiable based on how a person sees you through the content of your character. So look at the character of Donald Trump and his administration that's in power dealing with the MAGA movement of making America great again. But yet, when you look into the mission statement of MAGA, it's talking about white supremacy. And that is a problem to non-white people. Yet, there's laws in place that deal with respect or having respect for people's rights and civil rights and human rights with the diversity, equity, and inclusion. And regarding equality of the citizens of our country, right? So you have mean-spirited people who look at the rest of us in hostile ways, you know what I'm saying, that is unhealthy for the people who was being victimized by them negative spirits. This goes on to say, right, the Trump administration has increasingly relied on other forms of presidential directives, including presidential actions, to implement policy changes, like how the policy changes is actually wicked attacks, but they're using this in a nice way to make it seem like policy changes is an innocent term being used regarding policy changes. But it's darkness in that. For instance, the presidential action is a directive from the president used to call on the federal government to take action. Notably, the White House reclassified over 100 executive orders as presidential actions after their initial issuance. So, this guy manipulated historical crowning events, like say for instance like the civil rights movement and the civil rights accomplishments of Black America, right? To where the Trump administration trying to erase history and revise history in a way to where it will appear that the great things that civil rights organizations of our people that accomplish certain freedoms for us, they fought and died through blood, sweat, and tears for us to get these particular accomplishments. And they want to try to nullify them accomplishments, right? As if they nothing. It don't mean nothing. Like the fighting that we are doing is like we don't feel so rocked, like we've been rocked back to sleep so much to the point where we think them doing these things, reclassifying stuff, trying to do anti-Black executive orders against our rights, so to speak, like we're not going to respond appropriately to continue the fight to ensure that our rights is protected in our country here. You know what I'm saying? So they delusional and doing these things. It's like they in the act of desperation, you know what I'm saying, to try to push us back. You know what I'm saying? When the country can keep moving forward as it is and really make America great again, for real, by improving the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and funding, you know, the necessity aspects of the people who depend on these necessities. Okay, think about it. What if the Trump administration and his family and all their families would experience what we experience? Put themselves in our shoes. How would they feel and how would they think? You know what I'm saying? In terms of the struggles that they overcame from an oppressive people, right? And began gaining a lot of ground of justice and equality and reparations and economic justice and land being allowed land to build on and things of this particular nature. How would you think they would feel? Exactly. So, how in the hell the psychoanalysis of why they're reacting like this with the Trump administration and the MAGA movement, how in the hell do they feel oppressed by us? Look at the sick, twisted concepts of that particular notion, which is, but that particular, you know what, that particular fact of them feeling oppressed by us because of the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Always gotta be confronted by critical race theory and executive orders from previous presidents that was put forth, or civil rights Supreme Court decisions that we won through the courts to be prosperous in areas of law that has standing that protect our rights and interests, to where we start gaining power in the seats of power federally, state, and local. Dealing with us growing, you know what I'm saying, out of them dirty circumstances of the segregation and the slavery and Jim Crow laws, to the point where they trying to set us back into a climate like that. That don't make sense. So we know we're dealing with some kind of irresponsible leadership with this current administration, to the point where people is justifiable in their attitudes for Donald Trump to be impeached. Because this don't make no sense. Don't this guy value education? Don't this guy value diversity, equity, and inclusion? Don't this guy represent positive business practices, to where he is in support of people making money to live the American dream? But the American dream is to be realized, lived and realized with his compatriots of the what they call the Christian white nationalists, where the American dream become a nightmare to others at their hands. See, this environment, you know what I'm saying, is in need of real healing. So, of course, a lot of people need psychological evaluations that will be in alignment with Christ consciousness as well. You know what I'm saying? But until people have that realization and instinct to want to become enlightened in their mind with better social relations like that, until then, the wiles of Satan is running rampant. Definitions, right? This gentleman, hold on, oh yeah, this goes on to read. Now, presidential actions are not printed in the Federal Register and are therefore harder to track, making federal oversight and public review much more difficult. So what they got to have. So here it is. We live in our daily lives, right? While the business of the government is going on. Certain things like here they saying. Where they doing things where, like they say, the federal oversight and public review is difficult for us to track and see certain things that they doing. So in terms of us to keep paying attention to what's going on in each seats of power regarding our country. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's some justifiable good that's going on with the immigration issue. But in addition to that, there's other unbelievable things that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of staying in good spirits with those who are optimistic to participate in the political process to transform these ills of our government system with the healthy injection or healthy involvements to get the satisfaction that we all so deserve while all this crazy drama. You know what I'm saying? But until then, it seems like that's just being idealistic though. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing perfect. We live in an imperfect world. So does that make it justifiable to be wicked? Like deliberately? Like, you know, does that make things justifiable for individuals to just do wrong? Hurting people. You know what I'm saying? Making people miserable. You know what I'm saying? Try to make people feel emotionally sad or left out certain left out of certain things to bring them satisfaction to the point where they feel like They just missed out. It's crazy, man. And we living in a world where you actually got people that like seeing people suffer. That's some crazy ass shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Good quality people. You know what I'm saying? Who's supposed to be like professional, responsible leaders. You know what I'm saying? That get a kick out of seeing a person that's down where they kick them while they down. It's just crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? We better than this out here. We better than this, man. We better than this, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So you say for instance, right? I'm on here doing these positive communications for the purpose of information and educational purposes, right? And for some it might be entertaining, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I ain't mad at you, you know what I'm saying? But I know my intentions of what I'm doing here is to just keep it real, you know what I'm saying? It's more to us than being blinded, used and abused and scammed and swindled and tricked and deceived. Where we live a life for a lifetime in a world where people living and dying, and the world still in the condition that it's in, with the same warfare being played regarding this battle of good and evil. For instance, right, this goes on to read, right? Together these tools, right, allow the administration to rapidly reshape policy and have far-reaching consequences, impacting communities and individuals across the nation. That's what I'm saying. Look at how we're being impacted by what's going on. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Bob Marley, baby, was for real with it. You know what I'm saying? Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. I feel the fire of that, for real though. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because of real mission statements like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get lulled back to sleep. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, for individuals who get knowledge of self, it's crazy how individuals can so-called like be awake to the point they can get rocked back to sleep. You know that's powerful mind control influence. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Mind wars. For instance, right? Like this is saying, how people is affected all across the nation. However, Congress still has mechanisms at its disposal through legislation, oversight, and public pressure. And that's what they're getting from us, public pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we the people, we have a moral compass about this, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't just fall for anything out here. We stand for something. However, Congress still has mechanisms at its disposal through legislation, oversight, and public pressure to challenge or limit the impact of these executive actions. Yes, we want to challenge the obvious wrongs, overstepping bounds to try to affect our civil rights gains. No, 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 no. And as far as limiting, you know what I'm saying, the so-called, the intentions, we want to limit all of those strategies and tactics or legal tactics that they are implementing. We want them limited because they are intended, they not intended for good. And we want to limit the impact of these executive orders. Additionally, courts can review them to determine their legality and constitutionality. Bingo. So a lot of these executive orders Trump has put forth is unconstitutional. They unconstitutional, baby. But then he take an oath to uphold the Constitution. Look at the contradictions. But you ain't supposed to see that. You know why? Because they don't think you can think. And that's what they be doing behind closed doors, laughing at certain public or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like individuals don't be paying attention and thinking. You know what I'm saying? See, look, the Most High got a covering on a lot of us to the point where no matter what goes on in this world, we gonna be blessed. And can't nobody stop that. But yet, like for us who more spiritually mature in the planet, for us who more spiritually mature in the planet, like the master teacher Panda Bab Yanun, baby, who come to set the record straight. You know what I'm saying? With positive influences. But you have like what's considered the Luciferian conspiracy, right? Where they want to make what's good look bad, but they want to make what's wrong look right. See the psychological switcheroo? See, that's what it's all about. Tricking you to love what you shouldn't even love. To feel affectionate for what you shouldn't even feel affectionate about. Because going against the grain of the Most High's divine instructions for our lives. That's meant for really good. You know what I'm saying? Going against the grain of that is unwise. So let us embrace wisdom and be in obedience to the real natural nature of things. You know what I'm saying? In tune with the universe, baby. Where the overseers got our backs. You know what I'm saying? And working things out on our behalf. Though we walk through the valley and shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil. You know what I'm saying? But we may have life and have life more abundantly. You know what I'm saying? So, in addition to these effects of the environment, right? And how, people or individuals is being affected by what's going on in our nation. You know what I'm saying? However, right, Congress still has mechanisms at its disposal through legislation, oversight, and public pressure to challenge or limit the impact of these executive orders. Additionally, courts can review them to determine their legality and constitutionality. Like I said, bingo, the constitutionality of things. And then I heard, oh my goodness, a female reporter asked Trump one time in an interview about him upholding the Constitution, right? And he said, she asked him a question in regards to him upholding the Constitution, and he answered the question, I don't know. And this is the people we got in office. No, I ain't, look. You know what? It's okay, say for instance, like we learn from our mistakes, right? Like say for instance, say if you make a comment on something you don't know about, I think it would make you blinded in that moment to answer about something that you really can't base your answer on that's rooted in facts. Because the best way to pretty much comment on something is when you know the facts about something, where the facts is before you and you have read the facts, you have been exposed to the facts to the point where you end up having some insight on what that subject matter is, to the point where, okay, now I will comment on it because the facts was before me, where I would know how to respond based on the nature of the question. Right? So, in terms of us getting things right, the man have to be right. So, in terms of these people doing these wrongs out here, is wrongdoing on their mind? It gotta be. Look at what they doing wrong. Stuff is on their mind. Now let's hold on. Let's listen before we get deep into the depths. You know what I'm saying, of this logic and reasoning. This right here continues to read, right? Additionally, courts can review them and determine their legality and constitutionality to ensure a system of checks and balances remain in place. So, how the Trump administration going to, through the executive branch, like overlap into other areas of government where they just have it their way as a dictatorship or something, or operating as a fascist autocracy. Something ain't right. So, on a lot of the American people's watch, that's why you have forces want to impeach Trump and call for new, real constitutional leadership to represent the American people with diversity, equity, inclusion, and real justice. and fairness and equality. So this is what they doing, right? But the Most High is the best of planners. They say man is in loss, like certain spiritual books, for the sake of the Holy Quran. In this book is guidance, right? Regarding man being in loss, to find the guidance of the Most High. Or in the scriptures, the light of the Most High is a lamp unto my path. The master teacher say, only fools duck when the truth is pulled out. But I say a wise man like me, baby, I catch it and score a winning touchdown with it, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, may we win. You know what I'm saying? We born in this world, you know what I'm saying, to be winners, you know what I'm saying? Now, for instance, right, this goes on to read. At the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, we are clearly monitoring a series of executive orders and presidential actions issued by the Trump administration that we believe will have profound implications on Black Americans. These directives target critical areas such as economic opportunity, education, criminal justice, health equity, and civil rights protections. We have selected these executive actions because they pose serious threat to the progress and well-being of Black communities, risk exacerbating systemic inequalities, and could undermine hard-won gains. Now look at that. Hard-won gains. They going after that, my nigga. My nigga. They trying to go after that, my nigga. Yo. No. You know what I'm saying, my G. They trying to go after that, y'all. For real, my G. You know what I'm saying? No, my G. Now, for instance, our executive order tracker, right? Well, wait a minute. The hard-earned gains, do y'all get that, though? You know what I'm saying? Pertaining to the mighty fight. You know what I'm saying? The mighty fight. The freedom fight. Woo-hoo. You know what I'm saying? To accomplish these hard-won gains, yo. You know what I'm saying? Yo. That's something to really ponder on. The hard-won gains. So, after accomplishing the hard-won gains, right? We've been living life better. Much better. Much better. With still more work to do. But yet, they want to go back and attack the hard-won gains that made our life better. But yet, you want to try to make our life worse and harder? Get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? You sick, racist, demented people. What's wrong with y'all, man? Look. That's why it make you really wonder without your mind being clouded about the nature of these people. You know what I'm saying? Like when the scriptures is like certain people out here, you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye shall do. Period. So it's a devil seed in the earth doing wickedness and satanic dirt and devilishment with expectations just to be a devil. Devils amongst us. You know what I'm saying? Period. Look at those works, man. You judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Like the master teacher was like, look at my works. You know what I'm saying? The real gods have been exposed. The real devils has been exposed. We see you too, black devil. You know what I'm saying? And certain forces see us too, because we the gods. But yet, our ancient Egyptian order dealing with our true roots of our ancestors, right? This go back to an ancient jealousy of certain forces being jealous and envious of us, the golden race. We know who we are, right? Look, let's go deep into the reality of who we are with the extraterrestrial involvements, in addition to still being, having this current presidential and MAGA movement under the microscope to analyze to where these people need psychological evaluations. Because if they was real Christians, regarding these so-called, what they call Christian white nationalists, these so-called Christians, right? They would want for you what they want for themselves, regarding the brotherhood of humanity, spiritually growing and improving their planet. You know what I'm saying? Spreading good energy. But through natural nature, that's left up for us to do. Because when you really look at it, it appears that all these people who be trying to harp about the word love, the frequency of the word love, they don't have the emotions we got. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people, is they really human? Or certain people, they not human? Or they try to put negative stigma on us like we curse, or to be the burden bearers of America, of the American society, with all of the scapegoating going on to dump negativity on us. Get the fuck out of here. That ain't who he is. You know what I'm saying? We gods and goddesses. And in our right mind, most definitely, we know who we are. We gods and we goddesses. Get the fuck out of here with that dross that y'all trying to dump on our minds and spirits. So, in light of us having the light illuminated within our spirit and third eyes, you know what I'm saying? Connected to the nine-mind qualification, nine ether knowledge, you know what I'm saying, of our Kemetic ancestors, right? We can never be defeated by the negativity of the devil civilization. You know what I'm saying? So here it is, you know what I'm saying? The Congressional Black Caucus, though, right? Our order tracker provides detailed information on each executive action's legal status, an in-depth analysis of their impact on black communities, and highlights over 150 responses from Congressional Black Caucus members, including statements on threats these directives pose and actions that maintain crucial checks and balances on presidential power. Stay informed and engage as we monitor these pivotal executive actions and their consequences for Black Americans. Then let me something else. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm back. I found what I was looking for. Alright, now this right here, right? All y'all can go check this out yourself, right? It's dealing with our representatives, the Congressional Black Caucus. Now, they have a Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. All y'all can go look up, connect with, and follow, and research this information for yourselves to be informed with staying in tune and up to date with what they doing with this Trump administration and these executive orders that they have been pushing, right? For instance, right? Say for instance, right? Now, they say it was 36. Soon as he went to work when he got in office and passed like these particular 36 executive orders, right? And each one of them, either they not in effect, they have been blocked by a court, delayed or rescinded by the White House, or they've been partially blocked by a judge, or pending legal challenges currently being litigated, or they in effect already, or they currently in effect, where SCOTUS ruled on by the Supreme Court. And SCOTUS represent SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States. Right. Okay, now regarding these executive orders, right? The names of the executive orders. They got the name of them, the dates issued, the issue areas, summary, and status of the executive orders. Where you can get legal updates as well, right? Now, this one is dealing with strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. Right? In these areas of criminal justice, immigration, DEI, and law enforcement. The summary of them, this executive order increases the provisions of military officers, national security assets, the Homeland Security Task Forces to work in states and municipalities to prevent crime. The order reinforces the Trump administration's position that diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives are civil rights violations and orders the Attorney General to prosecute state and local officials who engage in DEI practices that endanger citizens. Y'all hear that? How do human services that look out for the well-being, or created programs that look out for the well-being of non-white people, endanger citizens? You know something ain't right with this at all. This is like, what is that? That don't even make sense. So we know something to that, man. They playing word games, you know what I'm saying, vilifying positive things and demonizing positive things. How you demonizing what's positive? We know something to that. This other executive order. But what's crazy about it, right, is it's in effect, where ain't no legal challenges pending about that executive order that was passed. That's straight racist. Racism at its finest. It don't make no sense. Okay, this other one, y'all can go check out for yourselves. Reforming accreditation to strengthen higher education in DEI. This executive order seeks to reform higher education accreditation by prioritizing academic excellence, measurable outcomes, and institutional accountability, while targeting what it describes as unlawful DEI practices embedded in accrediting standards. It empowers the Secretary of Education and the Attorney General to investigate, monitor, and potentially revoke the recognition of accrediting bodies, specifically singling out the American Bar Association's Council and the Alliances Committee in Medical Education for enforcing race-conscious policies. See, they race-conscious, these smart, like non-white or you know, affirmative action, like, you know, the funding of these programs, right, that's for the betterment of our people, you know, getting ahead. In addition to them being race conscious or woke, right, they consider vilifying that and demonizing that, right. But regarding what they're saying as far as the education for enforcing race conscious policies deemed inconsistent with federal law and recent Supreme Court rulings. How is that when Supreme Court rulings and federal law is in support of the civil rights gains that was won for us on our behalf to make our lives better? So this right here still, right, is in effect with no legal challenges pending. It's already been passed. What kind of logic and reasoning is that, to where we have Supreme Court judges that's in the seats right now didn't block that? Why they didn't block that? But yet it's 6 Supreme Court judges on the in the Supreme Court right now that's basically in support of the MAGA movement. With one out of the 9, with one of those 6 that support the MAGA movement, even the black Clarence Thomas. Wow. Who is helping them out against his own people's interests. This is unbelievable. Okay, this other executive order, right, that has an impact on black Americans, right? The White House initiative to promote excellence and innovative at historically black colleges and universities education. This order re-establishes a federal initiative aimed at supporting historically black colleges, universities, while simultaneously revoking previous efforts that emphasize diversity, equity, and inclusion. This one right here is in effect with no legal challenges pending. Reinstating common sense school discipline policies. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is regarding that has an impact on black Americans. Okay, regarding education, economic opportunity. This executive order directs the Secretary of Education to roll back previous administration's guidance on school discipline policies aimed at addressing racial disparities. The order directs school administrators, and state and local education agencies to give sole disciplinary authority to teachers and administrators with little to no federal oversight. This is in effect with no legal challenges pending that's been passed. Restoring equality of opportunity and meritocracy. Civil rights. Civil rights. This executive order eliminates that disparate impact liability. This executive order, civil rights. This executive order eliminates this disparate impact liability, a legal doctrine that prohibits or stops federal agencies from adopting policies that would disproportionately, a legal doctrine that prohibits federal agencies from adopting policies that would disproportionately harm marginalized groups. This order was repealed. This order also repeals several provisions of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and will alter or change the enforcement of the Fair Housing Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. In effect, no legal challenges pending. Fuck no. It's sick. What the hell, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Housing Act, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Them some hating motherfuckers, man. Motherfuckers ain't no good, man. Straight up, man. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, man, was like, the hate that hate produces real, man. These people is wicked, man. I like that, man. That don't make no sense, man. These hate mongers, man. These people is hate mongers, man. People is evil hate mongers, man. That stuff have an impact on us, man. Doing stuff like this, like we callous or don't have feelings to properly register in our heads or something what this means. And we just trying to live good, man. These are some no good people, man. These are some no good, no down, dirty, rotten people, man. People is foul, man. No down and rotten. These slick word tricks and try to make it sound good over here like they doing, right? Restoring equality of opportunity and meritocracy. Like we didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Through fighting for it. To where you want to take it away. To where we fight for it. Where you make it harder for it to go through again. You boy. I'ma chill. I'ma chill and not get too and have too many expletives on here because they deserve it. These people is some rotten people, man. This is foul as hell, man. This is straight up foul, man. You know what I'm saying? This how people gonna react at this stuff. I mean, I know they looking at these people with pure disgust, man. These some disgusting people, man. People, it's not cool, man. These people, spirits is so foul and unclean and filthy. I don't want them around me, man. Like, they don't want to be around us. You fucking filthy spirit people, man. Fuck y'all, man. Real for real. You know what I'm saying? Playing these. Oh my God, them people disgusting, for real though. Try to project that negativity on us. We innocent. Y'all perpetrators of this filth, man. Straight up, man. People's foul as hell, man. Got no respect for our ancestors who fought, you know what I'm saying, to help us have a better, brighter future. And these foul people, you know what I'm saying, wanna try to take it away from us, man. I'm telling you, boy. These people is some, oh my goodness, disgusting. Anyway, so-called good people in positions of authority, professionals. Y'all unprofessional as fuck. Get the fuck out of here, man. Y'all ain't nothing, man. always trying to put us in a category where you vilify our people with negative stereotypes and all that garbage. And y'all the main ones that's garbage. Robbers and thieves and liars. Fake ass people, man. People fake as a motherfucker, man. I don't like y'all, man. Y'all look, that's why a lot of people don't like y'all. Y'all ain't good. Y'all look, it's like, this is not good, man. But y'all don't care. You can't help yourself but to do evil with your jealous asses. It ain't shit, man. Fuck y'all, man. Doing this to our people, man. Erasing our civil rights, man. You don't touch that, man. How would y'all like y'all rights to be trampled on? We ain't trampling on y'all rights with y'all weak asses, man. Civil rights, man. This executive order. Hold on, man. Yeah, I'm back, man. Y'all, excuse me, but it is what it is. This is too far right here, man. This is wicked as hell, man. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I'm back. Anyway, y'all good people, man. Stay being good people, man. You know what I'm saying? And stay away from these foul ass people out here, man. These negative influences with these sick-minded ass people out here who ain't got no real respect for what's really, really good. Do these people even know what good really, really is? Man, this don't make no sense, man. Foul ass people out here, man. That's why, man, a lot of us who is them jewels, man, we can't cast our jewels among swine and none of that, man. This is real, man. These people are something. People are right, man. Anyway, this other one talking about lowering drug prices by once again putting America first. Anytime we hear that term America first, right? They talking about themselves putting America first. The executive order directs the Secretary of Health and Human Services to evaluate several Medicare and Food and Drug Administration processes to lower drug prices for American consumers, including the continuation of the Medicare drug price negotiation program that's in effect with no legal challenges pending, reinvigorating America's beautiful clean coal industry and amending executive orders. See, resources on a mind, environmental justice. Okay, but all this stuff is supposed to be having an impact on Black America, though, right? In a negative way. This executive order mandates a sweeping government-wide initiative to reestablish coal as a strategic cornerstone of U.S. energy policy, prioritizing expedited permitting, expanded federal support, and the dismantling of regulatory barriers to coal development. Regulatory barriers through a time bound agency-specific framework overseen by National Emergency Dominance Council. The order mobilizes federal departments to accelerate coal projects approvals, roll back anti-coal policies, and integrate coal into national energy, manufacturing, and technological future, protecting American energy from state overreach, environmental justice and energy. This executive order centralizes control over energy regulation at the federal level, directing the attorney generals to aggressively challenge state and local climate laws, particularly those related to carbon emissions, environmental justice, and lawsuits against energy companies on constitutional and legal grounds. Frames as essential to national security and economic growth, the order positions state climate activities as threats to federal authority, energy affordability, and interstate commerce, while promoting traditional energy sources under the banner of American energy dominance. Extending the TikTok enforcement delay. National security technology. This executive order delays the enforcement of the TikTok ban by another 75 days, extending the deadline to June 19th. Well, that was then. This move aims to provide additional time for ByteDance to negotiate a sale of TikTok's U.S. corporations to American investors. Despite legal concerns over the president's authority to override the bipartisan law mandating divestiture, regulating imports with a reciprocal tariff to rectify trade practices that contribute to large and persistent annual United States goods trade deficits. Right? Okay. Tariffs, trades, economic opportunity, global affairs. This executive order declares a national emergency to reduce the United States trade deficit with imposing reciprocal tariffs on countries with higher barriers to United States goods, addressing non-tariff trade practices, and revitalizing domestic manufacturing in critical sectors like defense, technology, and agriculture. It will be enforced by the United States Customs and Border Protection and coordinated by key federal agencies with provisions for tariff adjustments, product exclusions, and congressional reporting to ensure national security and economic stability, making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful, criminal justice, immigration, law enforcement. This executive order established a federal task force and a plan to make D.C. safe and beautiful by increasing the federal law enforcement presence, increasing access to concealed carry permits, deporting undocumented immigrants, and removing all homeless or vagrant encampments on federal land. Okay, now, wait a minute. Okay, now that one been in effect with no legal challenges pending. Now this one dealing with the regulating imports and with reciprocal tariffs, the one about the tariff trades and economic opportunity and global affairs. That one partially been blocked with legal challenges pending. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the tariffs, the regulating imports with a reciprocal tariff to rectify trade practices that contribute to large and persistent annual United States goods trade deficits. Exclusions from federal labor management relations programs, economic opportunity. This executive order stops federal workers across more than 20 agencies from collective bargaining, including the Department of Health and Human Services, Agriculture, and Energy. The order also instructs the affected department and agency heads to terminate collective bargaining agreements with their employees and terminate agency participation in any pending legal proceedings that pertain to unfair labor practices or grievances brought forward by unionized employees. Cause legal challenges pending. We need to stop them motherfuckers, man. Hold on. Yeah, I'm back. You know what I'm saying with these executive orders, right? This one talking about restoring truth and sanity to American history. Listen to this. Regarding the civil rights, the LGBTQ issues. This executive order outlines President Trump's intention to revoke funding from Smithsonian museums that divide Americans based on race, including the National Museum of African American History and Culture, or acknowledge transgender identity, including the Smithsonian American Women's History Museum. The order also directs the Secretary of the Interior to reinstate and restore the names of monuments on federal property. The order also directs the Secretary of the Interior to reinstate and restore the names of monuments on federal property. What names? What names? What names of these monuments on federal property that has been taken down since 2020, and to ensure that all descriptions and depictions of public monuments do not inappropriately disparage Americans past or living. That is some sick stuff, man. This stuff is crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at the illogicalness of this. What the fuck you mean? Okay, this executive order outlines Trump's petition to revoke take away funding from the Smithsonian Museum that divide Americans based on race. Look at the history of you people, you fool. Y'all the ones responsible for all this divisiveness of America based on race. What the hell is this madness? And how did it end up being passed to be in effect with no legal challenges pending? This is insane, man. People's logic is in need of repair. And this stuff impacting our people, man, in a bad way. Well, these people is dumping stuff on people that what people ain't even what you call it, don't deserve it, man, or even worthy of it. Preserving and protecting the integrity of American elections. Voting rights, civil rights and immigration. Man, look, this stuff infuriating me. It's making me mad. Because look at the word games you playing. How you preserving and protecting the integrity of the American elections when you attacking them at the same time, right? With getting rid of the Voting Rights Act, you fools. Hold on, man. You're interfering with the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, Fair Housing Act, and these, what was that, the history museums that they defunded and demonizing, lying on them, playing games like they the ones responsible for the America's division based on race. Man, we see straight through them lies. You know what I'm saying? The executive order mandate proof of United States citizenship for voters registration and requires that all mail-in ballots be received by election day. The order also directs federal agencies to help states in verifying voter eligibility and threatens to withhold federal funding from states that do not comply with these new regulations. Okay, this one been paused. Legal challenges pending. Improving education outcomes by empowering parents, states, and communities. Education. This executive order initiates the dismantling of the Department of Education and aims to give educational authority back to the states. Additionally, the order threatens the funding of educational institutions that continue to engage in any activities related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, or seen as promoting gender ideology. Now, I'm about the Most High, morality for our lives, the God, the Creator's morality for our lives. But I see how He throwing certain stuff in there, you know what I'm saying, that they trying to make look bad. One thing, say for instance, like how God don't condone certain stuff, right? But they throwing certain stuff in there that God do condone in there to make the stuff that God do condone look bad, like the stuff God don't condone, like the woman being with woman and man being with man. You know what I'm saying? That is a abomination. Even though we living in a world where people live like that, you know what I'm saying? I believe that the Creator wants them to change their ways. But at the same time, we still, respect people's lifestyles for who they is. But in this political arena of things, right, when it comes to the diversity, equity, and inclusion, that right there should not be vilified and demonized in no way, shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to show you. That's trick knowledge that they're trying to utilize in my book. You know what I'm saying? From my observation. And my computational awareness of this data and my computational analysis of my computational comprehension and analysis of this data and information, you know what I'm saying, I think makes sense of it is right and exact. Immediate measures to increase American mineral production. Environmental justice and energy. This executive order aims to bolster domestic mining like uranium, copper, potash, gold, and any other element, compound, or material determined by the National Energy Dominance Council, and the processing of critical minerals essential for national security, technology, and infrastructure. It directs federal agencies to expedite the permitting process for high priority mineral projects. That will be passed. That other one dealing with the DEI was partially blocked with legal challenges pending. This one right here, this one right here is dealing with removing discrimination and discriminatory equity ideology from the Foreign Service, immigration, civil rights, and DEI. This presidential action mandate the removal of the diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, core precept from the phone services, tenure and promotion criteria. That one been passed. So dealing with a lot of DEI stuff being messed with. So okay, this one protecting Second Amendment rights, health, civil rights, criminal justice. This presidential action mandates a thorough review of governmental regulations and policies that may have infringed upon Second Amendment rights, requiring the Attorney General to present a plan of action within 30 days. The action seeks to eliminate restrictions on law-abiding citizens' right to keep and bear arms while ensuring government actions comply with constitutional protections. So that's in effect with legal challenges pending. Expanding educational freedom and opportunity for families. Dealing with education, this presidential action expands school choice programs by encouraging states to use federal funds to support K-12 educational choice initiatives. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship, immigration, civil rights. This presidential action ends birthright citizenship for those born to undocumented immigrants and those born to people here lawfully on a work, tourist, or student visa. The action also prohibits federal departments and agencies from issuing and acknowledging documents purporting citizenship for those born to undocumented immigrants and those on student, work, or tourist visas. Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship, civil rights, mental health, technology. This presidential action rolls back previous commitments and attempts at managing hate speech, misinformation, and disinformation on online platforms. You know what? As I keep like, y'all can look at this stuff yourself, right? I'm kind of like sick of even. I mean, for knowledge purposes, you know what I'm saying? I'm reading them, right? But you know what? That stuff sounds ungodly. You know what I'm saying? Because of the intention and implication of the racism. It's sad, y'all. You know what? It's things that happen in this world that is designed by the devil to get under your skin, make you feel uncomfortable. But you know what? Even though this is a certain reality, we don't have to feed off into the negative words of these troublemakers. Now here it is, we innocent people out here doing legal things to make progress in our life. But you got some low down rotten haters out here that don't want to see you succeed. We dealing with that on many levels. We can see this. When you look out here in the society is full of a lot of, I'm finna go to it, hold on. Let me see if I can find this right here, hold on. Let me see if I can find this right here, man. I'm glad I ain't like these motherfucking crazy people, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm wired a certain way to be in my right mind with love in me. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't see nothing wrong with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where people, you know what I'm saying, is getting along with one another and prospering on this beautiful planet that we are on. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Let me see something. I'm gonna find this particular passage, man. You know what I'm saying? That's dealing with these, what's considered these unclean and hateful birds out here in this world, man. There we go. Okay, this is in Revelations, right? 18:2, right? About like the spirit of a lot of these people out here. What we dealing with, every unclean and hateful bird, right? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Right here. Let me see if they took me to it. About the state of this environment that fit the description of what this is saying. This is real. We gotta really separate ourselves from the unclean things of this world, y'all. I did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. I done did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm connected with certain spiritual forces and gateways for me to see through. And vortexes and portals and a vision. You know what I'm saying? That the Creator showed me in my life. I know for a fact. You know what I'm saying? That the Most High is the best of friends. For real. Oh, this talking about in this context. Wait a minute. Let me see. talking about let me see. Okay. Okay. And when he cried out with a mighty voice, saying, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place of demons and a prison of every unclean spirit and a prison of every unclean and hateful bird. People out here with nasty, foul attitudes. You know what I'm saying? It's like you communicate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, you ain't even got to communicate. You just watch people. And you can see how people infested with, you know what I'm saying, ugly spirits. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of good people out here with good spirits. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we see the chaos. You know what? I'm finna get off in my words. I'm finna get off of here, right? And get off into focusing on the good spirit. Because a lot of that stuff that they doing, y'all, I feel the no goodness of it, to where it's no good for our spirits. We can't let that stuff in our spirits. We gotta bypass that negativity of this world, right? And connect with a world that feed our spirit. Higher frequency energies. Peace and love.